Okay, so we've already covered 4C, solving linear systems of equalities by elimination. So today we're going to do elimination using multiplying. Before it was just adding or subtracting. Now we're going to have to change one entire equation to make it fit a little bit better, because now they'll line up, but they won't cancel out with a simple add or subtract. Okay, but first, make sure that you complete the two do now questions, which you probably have seen before. Now these two, the first one, again, the thing I need to pay attention to is making sure that everything lines up. My x's are together, my y's are together, equal signs and numbers all together. I'm going to look for the ones with the same number, which are the x's, not the 4 and the 6, because those won't cancel out. So the two x's, those are the ones I'm going to cancel out. But since one of them is a positive, the other one is also positive, I must now make it a negative. I'm going to change this sign, I'm going to change this one, and I'm going to change this one. So when I add them together, I can solve. X minus x will now go away. That's why we call it elimination. 4 plus 6 is 10y equals 0. 10y divided by 10, and divide this side by 10, y equals 0. Now, I have two parts to each solution. Right now I have the y part, which is 0. Anytime the y is 0, this is my x-intercept. Okay, so I got my x-intercept here. If I know y equals 0, I'm going to plug this somewhere into either this number here or this number here. I'm going to choose that first equation because everything is positive. X plus 4y equals 11. And I now know that y is 0, so I'll plug that in and solve for x. X plus 4 times 0, not 40, 4 times equals 11. And then 4 times 0 is 0. X plus 0 equals 11. X equals 11. 11 comma 0. That's elimination by subtracting. This one is also going to be subtracting because, like in the last question, I have the 3y and the 3y line up, but they are not exactly the same. They're not opposites. So one of them has to be positive. So I'm going to make this one positive, which means I change everything. And this was one of our practice questions from the last lesson. 2 plus 5 is 7x. The 3y's cancel out, eliminate each other, and they equal negative 21. Remember, 30 minus 9 is 21, but 30 is the larger number. Divide by 7, x equals negative 3. Again, we always have two parts to our solution, x comma y, and our x value is negative 3. Our y value is the one that we have to look for. Okay. Now I can pick either one of the original equations. Now, I think I can pick the first one because it has only one minus sign, so 2x minus 3y equals 9, and I do know that my x value is negative 3. So I'll plug everything else in, the 2 in front, minus 3y equals 9. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, minus 3y equals positive 9. Add 6 to both sides, add 6. Now this is where a lot of you guys are making mistakes. When these go away and you bring the 3y down, do not forget that it includes the negative sign. Okay, and this is 15. Divide by 3 on both sides. Sorry, negative 3 on both sides. And y equals negative 5. Answer is negative 3, negative 5. Now, you can also graph these solutions. Okay, so these can also be graphs. Keep that in mind. Now, I put this into the presentation because it's a nice little way to read through all the steps. Okay, put the equation in standard form. If you're not sure what standard form is, it is what they call ax plus by equals c, and c is a constant. For example, these equations are in standard form, so 2x minus 3y equals, what was it, 9, standard form. A and b represent coefficients, number in front of the variables, standard form. Determine which one to eliminate. Before we want to eliminate the 3's. Multiply the equation and solve. So this is the new one. This part is new. Okay, so this one's important. Once you find your equation, once you solve, whatever you solve for, you plug into there, and then you check your solution. Now this is what it's going to look like. Now, different from the one that we learned last class, let's see, make sure everything's in standard form. The x's are together, the y's are together, my equal signs are together, and my numbers are together. Now here's the part that's difficult. The 2x and 3x, they won't cancel out, even if one was positive and one was negative. The 2y and the negative y still will not cancel out, even if one was positive and one was negative, which they are. Now, to get them to cancel out, I do need a positive and a negative. And I have that right here. But the other thing that I need is I need to make sure that this one cancels the 2 by making this a 2y, a negative 2y. Because I can't turn this into a negative 3, I can't turn this into a negative 2, can't turn this into a negative 1, but I can turn this one into a negative 2 fairly easily. Now, identify which one I'm going to cancel. I'm going to cancel out my y's. Cancel out these two, and I'll show you how. I'm going to multiply the entire equation by 2, because I want this to be a 2. 2 times something. Okay, so this now becomes 6x minus 2y equals 10. And then the other equation, the first one was 2x plus 2y equals 6. Now I have exactly what I'm looking for. I have something to cancel out. Okay? Before we only made it a negative, now I have to change the entire equation to make them go away. Okay? We can solve now by doing what we did yesterday, eliminating, crossing those out. Elimination, something must go away. A variable must be gone. 6 plus 2 is 8x equals 16. Divide by 8, divide by 8, x equals 2. Okay. Now again, that's half of my solution, x equals 2, and I need to find my y value, which equals something. I'll plug it back into the equation. I'll put it into this first one, I'll put it right here. So I'll have 2, and then our x value of 2 minus, plus 2y equals 6. I have to go back to the original equations. 4 plus 2y equals 6, minus 4, 2y equals 2, divide by 2, because this is multiplicative inverse. Y equals 2 divided by 2, which is a big one. Okay, again, together x, y, 2, 1, x, y. Very important to put those in order. Students do, same thing. Now, again, you have to identify what should be canceled. Now, let's make sure everything's in order. Numbers together, equal signs together. Y's together, one positive, one negative, that's good, but the numbers are different. I have a 4 and then I have a 3. Here, I have a 1 and a 4. Now, they're not positive and negative, but the 1 is very, very easy to change. This is an invisible 1 in front, okay? So, I'm going to change one of these equations. Either I can make this into a negative 1, or I can make this one into a negative 4. I can make this one into a positive 3, which is very, very difficult. I can make this into a 4, very, very difficult. This one's easy to change because it's a 1. Okay? Change this entire equation. I'm going to multiply it by, I need it to be a negative 4. And 4 times 1, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. So, I now have that negative 4 that I want. And negative 4 times 4 is negative 16y. And negative 4 times 7 is negative 28. The other equation does not change, stays exactly the same. I'll just bring it over. 4x minus 3y equals 9, and then I'll solve. Add these together. Cancel, that's my elimination from yesterday that we learned, or from last class, sorry. Add these together, I have negative 19y equals negative 20, negative 19? Oh, negative 19, good. Negative 19, divide by negative 19 on both sides, and I have y equals positive 1. So, x, y, and y equals 1. Find my x by plugging it back in. Either one, I'm going to pick this one, it's pretty easy. So I have x plus 4, our y value is 1, equals 7. Multiply and simplify. 4 times 1 is 4. So x plus 4 equals 7. something plus 4 equals 7, minus 4 minus 4, x equals 3. Okay, so again, here, when I look at them, make sure they match x, x, y, y, good, equal, equal, 7 and 1, wonderful. Problem is, I can't make a 3 into 4 or a 4 into a 3. These are opposites, which is pretty good, but again, I can't make a 4 into a 3 or a 3 into 4. So I need to find out something that will cancel. I'm going to change this equation, and I have to change this equation. I have to change them both. I'm going to change this one and times it by 3. And I'm going to change this one and times this one by 4. So 3 times 3, 3 times 4, 3 times -1, multiply by everything, 9x plus 12y equals -3. Remember to multiply by the last term also. On the bottom we'll have 4 times 4, 4 times 3, and 4 times 7. 16x minus 12y equals 4 times 7 is 28. Okay, something will cancel, 12 and -12. I had to come up with these numbers. I could have multiplied this by 30 and 40, but I don't want numbers that big. I'm going to find my least common multiple. Middle school, elementary idea, least common multiple. 16 plus 9 is 25, and 25x, sorry. And 28 minus 3 is 25. Divide by 25 on both sides. Divide by 25 on both sides. X equals 1. Again, x comma y. X is 1. Y is the one we need to find. I'm going to plug it back into one of the original equations. The one with the most positives is always the one I seem to go with. So 3x plus 4y equals -1. And I know my x is 1, so 3 times 1 plus 4y equals -1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 4y equals -1, minus 3, minus 3. 4y equals -4. Divide by 4, divide by 4, y equals -1. There we go. Okay, okay, now I said last but not least, but there's I changed the question on you guys. The question that's there is not very good, so I chose the CST question in the bottom right. This is the question. So you can cross out the one that's written there and write this one instead. Now, when I look at these questions, I have to make sure that everything lines up. My x's are together, my y's are together, equal signs, and my subtraction, my numbers are together. I need to make sure that something's going to go away. I can get rid of the x's. I can eliminate the y's. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to eliminate here just the x's. Now, if this 2 right here, if I could change this into a -6x, that would be great. Because I cannot change this 5 into a 4. I can't change this 4 into a 5. And changing a 6 into a 2 will be kind of difficult. So I'm going to change this 2 and make it into a 6. I need to change this into a -6x. Now that means I need to multiply this entire equation up here by a negative number. Because that's the only way to get a negative number. So negative something times 2 will give me 6. -3 times 2. So -3 times 2, -3 times 5, and 8. -3 times 2 is a -6x, -15y, and -24. The bottom equation can stay the same. 6x plus 4y equals -20. Elimination, here we go. Those cross out, one positive, one negative, they go away. 15 minus 4 is 11y, a negative is bigger, equals 24 minus 22. So this should be a minus 20, should be -44, and divide by -11. Y equals 4. Now that's half of my answer. So the other half, I'll plug it in and I'll solve. Okay, so I have x and we have y. We have -6 for the x and 4 for the y. Here, when I plugged in the y value 4, here's my y value. I plugged it in right there. I used the original equation. I didn't use the modified equation. Solve for x. X equals 6. X comes first. Y comes second. Okay, so today your essays are due next week, Wednesday. I can't stress this enough. There's such a small number of students who finish their essay on time, at least a rough draft, so you guys got to get on it. So final drafts, not were due last week, but your final drafts are due next week. Final draft due next week, Wednesday the 11th.